approved in all of the states. So wherever a student is looking into our school, he knows that he's coming to school. It is approved by their state. And that's something you can be very, very proud of. There are very few schools that are not like that, Andrew. Isn't that true?
That's true, Rob. There's not a lot of accredited truck driving schools around, are there?
No, very, very few. I think 2 or 3, if we can even think of who they are. And what this all means to you is value and employer recognition. That's why we have the companies that are available to our students when they come here at that time.
Rob, why do the students travel from all over the country to attend National? I mean, we're located down here in Jacksonville, Florida, or Green Cove Springs, Florida, and we get students pretty much from every state in the country. Why?
Well, that stands really, this is it. We're not a CDL mill, and we not be what they seem, but they only teach the test. That's all these companies are doing. The community colleges, they're kind of neat too, but they're less expensive, but they take longer to complete and lose lots of valuable pay. You can get the same training, believe me, folks, by the combination in-house or doing it online, and then the 3 weeks of actual behind the wheel. And we offer a high-value education for a reasonable tuition and in a short period of time. You're going to go to work. So you might be 12, 14, 16 weeks at some of these schools, but you're going to be out there at the end of that day of your last or your third week at the school. Companies are coming here. We'll talk about that soon.
Okay. Nationally accredited, nationally recognized. That is huge. State-of-the-art training facility, that 350 acres. We'll talk a little bit more about the training facilities itself. We have the most up-to-date training program. And Rob, when we talk about the up-to-date training program, because of the online component, CSA rules, the CBA rules, and DOT rules, they change a couple of times a year. These other schools, they're throwing pieces of paper into a book. We're just updating them right online. So you got the most up-to-date there. The next thing we talk about is that convenient financing package. Now, Rob, you've been here 34 years. We're 35, 36 years in business, 37 years in business. I don't think we've ever not helped somebody due to financial
No, I've never seen that, Andrew. It's true. It's just that we're always there to help the individual.
So we have a financing package for everybody. We have the most hands-on training in the shortest period of time. Getting back to that whole college, those 8, 10, 12-week programs. Here you have a 3-week program and you're going to work and you're making money. Training above and beyond just getting the CDL. You're not just holding the steering wheel between 2 white lines. A successful placement assistance program. And of course, we couldn't do that without our hiring partners. And again, we have Jim Clifford here tonight with Werner Transport, one of our very good partners. Many trucking companies recruit from National. I think Jim, Jim, you're there for almost every class, aren't you?
I come in for every class, yes, sir.
Yeah, and Jim is one of a number of different companies that come in and speaks to the different classes. Now, the National training difference. At National, it's not just about passing the CDL test. We really actually teach you to drive the truck so you can pass any test. And Rob, I know that you tell your students, how important it is to get that home study done and learn everything there is to know about the industry with that, because every day when you start that truck and you're out there on the road, it's a test, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yes, it is. It's a meaningful test, too, for sure.
The right training means job security. And national training is where the trucking companies come for new drivers. And tonight we are so very happy to have Jim Clifford with us from Werner Enterprises. And Werner hires lots and lots of national training graduates and have for many, many years. Jim has been with Werner now for a little bit over 10 years, and he does come to every one of our classes. Jim, let's go ahead and get started. You want to tell us a little bit about Werner?
Sure, I'd be happy to. First off, appreciate everyone coming on this evening. And I think you'll find National does an outstanding job of training and preparing you for life as a professional driver. So you're making an excellent choice by attending training there. Just a brief history about Werner. Werner got started in 1956. We started with one truck. Today we have grown to over 7,500 trucks on the road, over 25,000 trailers, and we are now one of the top 5 truckload carriers in the U.S. We have operations in Canada, Mexico, China, Australia, and I think we have a presence in 31 different countries. So we're not just a local type trucking company.
Wow, that's huge. I was in Puerto Rico not that long ago, and I saw a whole bunch of trucks, Werner trucks right there as well.
Yes, we have a large footprint out there. By being in the top 5, we also are a debt-free company, a multi-billion-dollar company, and we're debt-free. So we're very strong and stable financially. And, of course, you can find information out about Werner by being publicly traded. We're on the NASDAQ market, and WERN is our stock symbol if you want to take a look there.
Excellent.
We do have a lot of different opportunities for drivers. We do hire drivers from all over the country. And, of course, each area has different needs, so you'll find that we have over-the-road drivers. We have team drivers. And as a matter of fact, for teams right now, we do have a sign-on bonus. So if you thought about going as a team, now is a great time to do that. We do have the dedicated and the regional opportunities to get you home a little more frequently. So we do have some weekly home time available with dedicated and regional.
Hey, Jim, could you go into you know, a lot of people, we have people online tonight that are actual seasoned drivers. We have others that have, you know, basically just come every week to hear what some of our trucking companies have to say, but we have some that have no clue. Could you talk a little bit about what a regional schedule might look like?
Regional, of course, just means that you're running within a smaller portion of the country. Of course, you have over the road, which is all 48 states in southern Canada, and then it would drop down to regional, where you're home weekly. So you're running, say, in the southeast, the northeast, the Midwest, and then dedicated. What that means is that we dedicate our trucks to specific companies. Companies like Walmart, Pep Boys, Family Dollar, Dollar General, Sears, Home Depot, Bass Pro Shops, Coca-Cola. We have over 100 different dedicated accounts. And dedicated drivers, like regional drivers, they're running within a smaller portion of the country, but they're only hauling freight for that one company.
Nice. Nice. And the next slide I'm showing talks about driver trainers.
Yes. That is an opportunity for students. Once they have experience, they can become driver trainers. And, of course, as a driver trainer, then they would be eligible to take new students out in the truck during their training period. So it's a very good opportunity for the right person.
It's a very lucrative way to make some extra money there as well, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Our trainers average $60,000 to $65,000 a year. So it's a very nice opportunity.
Okay, the ones I'm showing now talk about 48 state bands and TCUs.
Correct. The TCU stands for temperature controlled unit or refrigerated. So we do have those opportunities, as well as the van division, which is just your standard 53-foot trailer. Those are the blue Werner trailers you'll see going up and down the highway.
Those are nice, really nice. And then you also have a flatbed division.
We do have a flatbed division, and again, it falls into the category of Werner giving you a lot of different opportunities and a lot of choices once you graduate from truck driving school.
Okay, we're starting to actually get some questions in on the question board here, and Tony is asking, you know, can you go from one type of truck to another type of truck within Werner? You know, if you're a van driver, and then you know you're tired of being a van driver and you want to go out and get some exercise, can you be a flatbed driver? I think it's kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah, and again, that's the nice thing about Werner is you have different choices, and you can change. You can go from flatbed to van to refrigerated to over the road to teams to regional, or dedicated. So it gives you a lot of opportunities.
Okay. Now we're down to company drivers, and it talks about the general qualifications, and it looks pretty much like your qualifications are very similar to ours at the school. 21 years of age, meet the DOT requirements, pass the physical, have a stable work history, which I know is very important when you're going there. An acceptable driving record, all important things.
Yes.
And ours are pretty close to that as well. What about owning your own truck at
Yes.
Werner? How does that work?
That is another opportunity. Once you have experience, you may buy a truck either from us, or if you have your own truck, that is fine. And you can go into being an owner-operator. We do like you to have some experience before you do that to make sure that you enjoy driving. Once you get out there and you decide you like what you're doing, you may want to look at being an owner-operator. It is an independent business person, so it gives you a little bit more flexibility on your scheduling and how you want to work.
And one of the things that pop out on the screen here is a $5,000 sign-on bonus for team drivers. I guess that's under
Yes.
owner-operators.
Yeah, but there is a $5,000. Well, it's actually $2,500 per driver. So, like I say, if you thought about running as a team, now is a great time to do that.
Okay. How about the? Werner. Certainly is a terrific company, and they also have lots of really good benefits. And I think that's why so many of our graduates drift over to Werner. You want to talk a little bit about the benefit packages?
Yeah, we do have an excellent benefits program, starting with the major medical, dental, vision, prescription card. We have a matching 401k. We have a matching stock purchase plan where you can buy Werner stock as a driver, and it is a match on that as well. I want to go back to the insurance for just a minute if I could.
Sure.
On our medical insurance, it is with Blue Cross and Blue Shield. It's a PPO plan. The nice thing about Werner is you're eligible for your medical insurance after one full calendar month. So if you
30
started
days.
to work,
Wow.
So yeah, that's a very nice program. So
I think that's the first time I've heard that in a very long time with all the companies that come on a Tuesday night. That have 30 days. That is something I learned tonight. That's great. What about it talks about paid orientation?
right. Once a student graduates from the national training, we would bring them to our nearest terminal to where their home is. So if you have someone, I believe you said there's someone from Texas.
Yes.
We have Dallas. We have a terminal there. Somebody from New York, we would bring them into our Allentown, Pennsylvania terminal. So we offer orientation around the country. Okay. As far as our orientation goes, it is at the terminal, classroom for 2 days, and then you would get on the truck with a trainer, and you would go with that trainer for 275 hours of your time behind the wheel. The training pay is $400 per week, starting with the first day. The average student would complete training, and at the end of training, if they went straight through their training program, they would receive a $500 bonus on top of their weekly pay for delivering their first load.
Wow, that's a nice little bonus.
Yeah. We do put smokers with smokers and non-smokers with non-smokers. And ladies, you would have the choice of a male or a female trainer.
Okay, I got a couple of, it looks like a husband and wife. This couple is actually in class right now, so you may have already met them. But they want to know, can you train together as a husband and wife?
At this time, we do not. There's only one company that will train husband and wife teams together. And that company does come into the school and talk with the students while they're in class.
Okay.
But at Werner, they would separate during training.
Oh, but then as soon as the training is done, they can go back together and they can drive, no problem.
Exactly.
Terrific. Russ Andrews got a question here. He says, I I think this goes back to when we were talking about orientation. He just says Florida. If you're coming from Florida, where would you train there?
We have a terminal in Lakeland, Florida.
Okay. So they would actually do their orientation in Lakeland?
Yes, that is correct.
Wow, that's kind of neat. I did not know that either. Very good. I have a military guy on here, and he's asking about, and I know that this is something that you want to get into. I'm going to go back to it because I opened my big mouth. He wants to know if you guys have a veterans program.
Yes, we started Operation Freedom about 8 years ago. It was the first veterans program for the military in the country with a truck driving company. We've been doing it for about 8 years now, and the veterans are eligible for up to $13,000 of their GI Bill or post 9/11, depending on which one they qualify for. We also have a veterans program person on staff in Omaha, so if they have questions, we have that number we can give them, and they can help with any questions the veterans may have about the program.
Okay, so Jim, basically what happens with that is they go through our school, and maybe they use their GI Bill, maybe they don't. They go to work for you, and let's say they're making X amount of dollars. They're getting money on top of that X amount of dollars just because they're a veteran?
They are getting money on top of that. That is in addition to their regular pay.
Wow, that is pretty neat, and I do understand that Werner was one of the companies that applied for that through the GI Bill.
Correct.
Okay, I missed a whole section here, and that talked about we went over the purchase plan. We went over the opportunities to own your own business, medical and dental insurance. We did all of that. All right. Next thing I missed. Sorry, I got my slides out of order here.
I did see where you had information about our equipment up there.
Yes.
And we do drive one of the newest fleets in the industry. The average age of our trucks is 2 years of age, and no truck over 4 years old. So you're always driving new, up-to-date equipment. We have all the new green technology, if you will. We are legal to idle the truck in all 48 states. So we do not require APU units on our trucks. And another little tidbit of green information, if you will, that 20 cities across the country, the air coming out of our exhaust is cleaner than the air that went into them.
Wow.
That's pretty
Wow.
neat. Yeah. Never heard of that one.
You know, Jim, I know that we're always very big about talking about, the cents per mile and, things like that. And, we always tell our students, in the trucking industry, you make somewhere between $35,000 and $45,000 the first year. But when we talk about that, you do the cents per mile thing. You really have to kind of figure in the extra money as well. Things like what am I trying to
Bonuses,
say?
Andrew?
Yeah, the different bonuses. You want to go through that a little bit?
Right. There are different bonuses, and based on the division that a person would drive in, of course, the bonuses will vary. But we have everything from on-time delivery, safety bonuses, fuel efficiency bonuses, mileage bonuses. So we have a lot of different bonuses available to the driver. And as far as cents per mile goes, that's where it can get very misleading with a lot of companies. One company may offer more per mile, but if you're not receiving the miles, you aren't necessarily making more money. But the average income for a first-year solo driver owner is a little over $37,000, and of course graduating up from there. teams could be in the 40 to 45,000 each their first
Each.
year.
So you're talking
Correct.
between 80, 90,000 for the first year as a
Correct.
team.
Correct.
Pretty nice money there, for sure. Purchase programs, we talked about that. Here's a question here from Sal, and he wants to know, what about tuition reimbursement?
Yes, we do offer tuition reimbursement, and we pay up to $6,000 in tuition reimbursement. So
Wow,
we
so
will help
actually
you with
people
the
going
cost.
through National could probably go to school almost for free.
Correct.
Wow, that is fantastic. Let's open up the telephone lines and see if there's some other questions. Just go ahead. If you have a question for Jim, please raise your hand, and we'll open up your microphones. I see a lot of familiar faces here. Russ Andrews wants to know, how is the reimbursement paid?
We pay $100 a month, up to $6,000.
Okay, terrific, terrific. I hope that answers your question, Russ. And what's kind of nice about that is you'll pay it either to the lender or to the student, correct?
Correct.
Very nice. That's
And
kind of
if it was a split, let's say the student paid half and they financed half, we would pay off the finance first, and then we would pay the student the balance.
wow, that's very cool too. Okay, that is what I heard. Thanks. Okay, so he's just checking on what he heard. That's great. Okay, any other questions for Jim? You have something there, Rob?
No, I think he really hit all the buttons on this. He's quite diversified as far as some of these things, especially, we're talking about the hospitalization and so forth, and some of these things that the extra bonuses. Those are great things because, a lot of times we miss over them sometimes when we're talking to students, but it's great to hear it. Right, that's what we call, Jim, that's from the horse's mouth, so you go right for it. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Jim, do you have anything else to add?
Yeah.
No, I just want to
One
thank
thing,
you.
can I just, one thing, I had to step out of the room, so I might be treading on, again, the same thing you talked about. But did you go into becoming an owner-operator as far as a little bit of what the cost-wise and what that would be for the student who was looking into it? I was there about the owner-operator, but I don't remember if somebody really wanted to get into it. Do you lease the equipment, Jim, or how does that work?
No, it's actually a true owner-operator. We do not lease the equipment.
Okay. So, I mean, it's like what they call a lease purchase type thing?
Well, the lease purchase, generally, they're buying from the company and paying the company like a rental fee.
Right.
Where ours is the actual owner or the driver owns that truck.
I
So
see.
if they decide to go somewhere else, that truck goes with them.
I see.
And,
Very good.
and we do have an owner-operator division where if someone has a specific question about being an owner-operator, I can put them in touch with that division, and they can answer those questions. I don't deal a great deal with owner-operators, so they can answer better than I.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, we got another question here from Jeff, and he's asking approximately how many miles a week would a Werner driver, an over-the-road driver, have?
Yeah. An over-the-road driver would average 2,500 to 2,800 miles per week. Now, with that being an average, we do have some drivers that run more and some that run less. So it depends on the individual as to how hard they want to work. But basically, if they deliver their freight on time, deliver it safely, they're going to have more miles than the driver that likes to sit at the truck stop.
Okay, it looks like Mike wants to know about, can he put a refrigerator in his truck?
Yes, you can put a refrigerator in the truck. And some of our opportunities, a refrigerator is included. It just depends on where they live as to which opportunity they would qualify for.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, if anybody has other information or wants to get a hold of Jim Clifford, feel free to call us at 1-800-488-7364, and we will connect you directly with Jim Clifford, with Werner. Jim, I want to thank you for coming on tonight and sharing a lot of great information about Werner Enterprises, and we look forward to seeing you down on the training grounds. I guess you'll be in there. You've already seen this current class, correct?
I was in there yesterday, and
Okay.
I will be back in on May the 6th.
May the 6th. Terrific. And I know that we have a really good class down there right now.
Exactly.
Quite a few husband and wife or teams in this current class, so that was kind of neat to see as well. And it is big that Werner is also going very heavy on the team division as well, isn't that right?
Yes, we are adding teams constantly.
Very good. Well, Jim, thank you so much for coming on tonight, and I hope to see you at the training grounds very shortly.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and good luck to everybody, and hope to see you all at National soon.
Okay, thanks a lot, Jim. Good talking.
Thank you.
Okay, Rob and I are going to continue on, and Rob, here's the question: why drive a truck for a living? And I think Jim Clifford pretty much
answered that, didn't he?
Yeah.
For sure.
The real thing is, though, that there's a huge demand for drivers, and a huge demand for drivers equals job security. And the truck driver shortage is a growing concern, and of course there is no shortage of people applying for professional truck driving jobs. Really where the rubber meets the road is selecting truly qualified drivers out of this large pool of people. And the older generations are retiring much faster than the replacements can actually take the wheel. One of the reasons that people want to drive a truck for the living is the adventure. They do the 48 states, Canada. They get to see the country, and they get paid to do it. They can make some pretty big money. First year, like we heard from Werner tonight, over $37,000 the very first year. Pretty good money. Life insurance, all of the different types of health insurance, the dental and the vision plan. This particular company, Werner, within 30 days. Accidental death and dismemberment, health insurance for the driver. Not only the driver, but for the family as well. Freedom from the boss's heavy hand. Rob, you always talk about this as one of the great things about the trucking industry is it might have Werner's name on the side of the truck or another one of the company's name on the side of the truck, but you're the boss, aren't you? Rob? Hello? Okay, did I lose everybody? Okay, I'm back. Okay. And disability insurance. Rob, are you there? Okay, we lost Rob. The office from the outside. And this is a big deal. A lot of people have seen trucks going up and down the highways, but they've never actually been up inside the trucks. And what we have here tonight is a Kenworth. And take a look at the back part of this truck. We got the TV, we got the VCR, we got all of the sound padding on the walls. Okay, plenty of cabinet space. Okay. I got a little reverb here that's telling me. We got all of the cabinet space, and then take a look at this. The seats, they turn around, okay? So here's a little desk that pops out. He's got his window, and of course a microwave oven. And then take a look at the front of the truck. And then, again, this top picture, this is a little bit older a truck. Okay, it has the wraparound dashboard. Okay, so that's the Kenworth. One of my favorite trucks, though, is this one right here, the Volvo. And the Volvo, I like to show this truck for the simple reason it looks like a motorhome. This is the back part. You got your two driver seats, and then I took a picture with the bunk up and the bunk down. Okay, so you see your straps get strapped in there. It has a refrigerator. It has the microwave. Just a nice, very comfortable type of a truck. How many people online with us tonight are thinking about maybe going into business for themselves, maybe owning their own truck or a couple of trucks down the road? Go ahead and raise your hand. If you think about maybe owning your own truck. Okay, Russ, Bill, Tom, Peter. Excellent. You might want to consider a truck like this. This is the International. And a lot of the major carriers are not going to, or the company drivers are not going to drive a truck as luxurious as this. But if you're buying your own truck, you can outfit it however you want. Take a look. This particular truck has wood floors. You can do the interior in any color. It has, the microwave, the refrigerator, the APU. It has the electrical outlets, the inverters. Okay, take a look at the dashboard. It has the backlit lights. Okay, the backlit dash, the diamond plate. It also has the computer built right into the dashboard, also with a CB radio as well. Over-the-road drivers, okay, lots of different types of drivers out there. Over-the-road drivers, we talk about the great pay scale. We talk about bonuses and incentives. We talk about top-of-the-line equipment. Tuition reimbursement. You know, a company like Werner, $6,000, tuition is almost free at National. Advancement opportunities. And then there's regional driving or dedicated driving. And what Rob and Jim Clifford talked about regional, maybe talking about the 5 southern states. You haul freight, all different kinds. You remain primarily in one specific area of the country. Most of the regional or the dedicated runs give you weekly home time. They give you great pay, steady runs. Company
Andrew,
benefits.
I'm sorry.
That's okay, Rob.
The whole building shut down. That's power. Compliments of Florida Power and Light. I don't know what happened, but I was just wiped away. Anyway,
Nope.
We'll go on to regional driving. That's.
Yeah, I got this part right.
Oh, okay, great. Go ahead.
And then the company benefits. You can start with the local driving.
Okay, sure. You know, everything requires local driving. Somebody's got to deliver the goods. It requires multiple stops every day. You know, some jobs require loading and unloading, mostly unloading though, and some jobs require special loading and unloading skills. The pay and the benefits are sometimes less than regional or over the road, but, you know, again, a lot of times you're getting paid by each piece of the goods, so there's extra money there.
Rob, we talked about 25 cents to 45 cents a mile as an entry-level position. The Department of Labor looks at it a little bit differently. They always look at that hourly rate. And what is it showing us here?
Well, the hourly rate is $19.83. That's the general freight trucking, and you can see that there's different areas here. You've got everything from special freight, which is $18.87. It comes out to $39,000, over $39,000 a year. Grocery related, over 21. That's $21 an hour. It's $43,900. And of course, cement concrete at $17.50 to $36. And other specialties are over $17 an hour, $36. So everything is it's a good salary whichever way you go. And we're not including, for example, in the construction area, cement, you've got overtime, and general freight, you've got the bonuses. So these are just the actual salary. You've got a lot of pluses and benefits in here, too, that aren't included.
Rob, and you know, in plain English, this isn't chicken feed. $700, $800, $900, $1,000 a week, pretty good money.
Not
and
too
team
bad
drivers
coming
can
out of
double.
school, is it? You know?
Yeah.
Not for,
Yeah,
for
I
coming
mean,
out
after a 3-week training program or a 4-week training program, to make $1,000 a week and not really have any debt, not a bad deal at all, is
Not
it?
a bad deal, no, and for the money that it costs to go to school. Now, these are the DOT driver qualifications. The actual age, these haven't changed for years. 21 years old or older, no maximum age. Pass the DOT physical and drug screen, of course. Read, write, and understand the English language, very, very important in this area. Background that qualifies him or her to possess a CDL. And we won't make you eat all your broccoli, of course, and the employers in national training have additional qualifications, as we do, because we're, again, sort of screening our people completely.
Rob, when we talk about our truck driving school, and, of course, we qualify as maybe even a little bit harder than the industry itself. Let's talk about what we're looking at.
Sure. The driving record, that's so important, folks. I mean, it's got to be pure. And to get into any of these major carriers like Werner or the ones that come to our weekly sessions. Criminal background, absolutely. That's another one. That's another variable that's very important. Physical abilities, absolutely. You've got to go through a DOT physical, and they're going to pick up anything. But it's not, you'd be surprised. It's kind of a light physical, though. Administered drug screen, of course, we're going to make sure that happens because we got to live up to the DOT standards. Most important, we want to know your intensity to succeed. We ensure you can benefit from this training before you start. And the most important thing to everybody concerning you, I, the school, everybody who's involved in the industry, are you employable? Boy, is that important.
Now, Rob, just because you might have something in your background, you don't want to count yourself out either.
No, not at all, because this is where you have to come and talk to your representative. Your representative is going to scan you. You might think you're out of the picture, but he might find something that isn't that important to the trucking industry. And that's the beauty of it. He's going to look for this. He's going to try to find if there's any little hedges that'll keep you out of the industry. If there are, he's going to advise you. If you're not, he's going to tell you how to get around it to make sure that you can pass the DOT and the driver qualification for the different companies, and also be able to get in our school to be able to do all of these things.
All right. I want to talk a little bit about our program, and our unique hybrid program offers our students superb flexibility. The students are able to study at their own pace, and students can work and complete much of that classroom requirement from the comfort of their own home. So you're not going to sit in a classroom for days on end wishing it was going to be over. When do I get up in the truck? When do I get to start practicing? You do all the book work or the classroom work at home on the computer. And our truck driving course includes all of those left-out subjects that you're not going to find at the mom-and-pop schools or the CDL mills. Things like brakes and tires and wheels, electrical systems, load securement, map reading, accident reporting. That's the difference between you keeping a job and losing a job. Braking techniques, coupling and uncoupling, principles of a diesel engine, air supply and exhaust systems, lubricants and lubrication systems. Really, Rob, what we're teaching is the trucks bumper to bumper, aren't we?
We sure are, Andrew. And this is the difference between our schools and anybody else. We're the only one that really does this. It reminds me of a pilot checking out before he takes off. All the check sheets and everything has to be done before he safely can fly off of that particular runway. This reminds me of that. This is just planning. This gives us the professionalism that nobody else has.
Now action at the school, it's 3 weeks of hands-on training. You're not sitting in a classroom doing the book work or classroom work. You've done that all at home.
Sure.
And you start out day one up in the truck. Okay? You're going to learn your pre-trip inspection, and you're going to go over that truck. Take all the information that you learned in the home study, and you're going to go to it now, bumper to bumper. Then you're going to go down into the backing pad. Okay, here you see a couple of trucks doing parallel parking, straight line backing, alley docking. And then, of course, we have that 1.25 mile highway. And again, Rob, this is day one.
Day one, absolutely.
Day one. Here's an aerial view. You talked a little bit about this earlier, Rob. And you've been in the business for so many years. I Have you ever seen anything quite like this?
I've traveled all over the country, Andrew, and I've looked at other schools from all different angles, but I've never seen anything like this. This is always appealing to me, this picture, to show exactly that our training ground looks like. This was designed and built as a professional driving school, truck driving school, 18-wheeler school. And look at, as Andrew goes around there, just think, this is the first day you're in that 53-foot vehicle. That trailer is over 70 feet long. You're driving in there, getting used to it. Andrew stops. There's our backing and docking areas, our little slots there that come in. You do it on the blind side, on the left side, driving in there. That's where you do your parallel parking. This is where we're going to hook up the trailers, get it all slot, pre-tripping and so forth. This is all important areas. There's another area where we're doing some pre-tripping. From there, folks, after we felt, get you going for about a day or two, out on the highway, smaller roads leading into the larger highways, into the main I-95s and all the other roads that are really surrounding our areas, giving you all different kinds. And folks, we do night driving too. We're about the only school that does that compared to the mom and pop schools.
You know what really impresses me about this, Rob, is, I'm not going out in the street for the very first time with traffic. I know I can control the truck. And not only is that good for the student, but I think it's good for the student's family to know that as well.
Oh, absolutely, Andrew. They know where they're going. They know exactly what's going to happen the first few days. That's right.
So you're up in the truck the very first day. Here's an instructor with a student. They're going through the dashboard, through every one of those instrument panels. Talk about our trucks a little bit, Rob.
Yeah, again, folks, we don't know where you're going to go. We've got the choice of all these carriers, whether you're going over the road, regional, local. And there, for example, there's our different tractors offering the same thing. There on the left, you see that's a day cab. It doesn't have the big sleeper on it. Next to it is going to be saying that's the sleeper models. And then as we go up here, you're going to see the conventional condos, even the larger vehicles. The cab overs are out to the side there. We still use those. The companies still use them, but we're going to there's going to be all models that you're going to, because they all have different transmissions and the feel of it is going to be different. We want to make sure that you have the availability, again, to that word, to benefit from leaving our school and getting a job with a major carrier.
Rob, going through every class, we have graduates. We always take a graduate picture a few days before graduation, and the students get those, of course. But there's no better referral for this school than a referral from one of our graduates. And we get them all the time. Most of our business comes through our referrals. And some of our graduates, this is kind of what they're telling us. This is Michael Carlisle, and Michael chose National because our program would provide him with the most behind-the-wheel driving time. That was very important for Michael. And while in school, Michael received 4 serious offers for employment even before he graduated. Pretty impressive.
It is.
Here's Mark Albert, and I like Mark's story because he's kind of a guy like me. Former insurance salesman. He was a manager in a factory. He didn't want to sit behind the desk anymore. Okay, so he wanted to get out there, get on the road. He chose National because of our great reputation with a professional admissions team and our location. Now, you might say location. Well, Mark lived in Keene, New Hampshire, and he came down last January. So Keene, New Hampshire was like below 2.
Yeah.
Here he is up at National with just a little hoodie on, doing his training. So
makes a difference.
That was important. Here's Marissa Giles, and Marissa Giles is a former Marine, and our training format allowed her to train in her new career while she was still on active duty. We've graduated many, many military veterans over the past 20 years. And Marissa now is doing very, very well as an over-the-road truck driver. Rob, talk about the career services or our job placement assistance.
Sure, we're glad to, Andrew. This is something that we have perfected over the 33 years, and it started really right off just pretty much what we do today. We're probably more and more astute to computers and things, but that's about it. The very first day, folks, when you get up to our school, not in the middle or toward the end of our training of the 3 weeks, the first day, our counselors are going to get together with you and sit down and talk to you about what you plan to do in your life. In other words, maybe you'd like to go into regional over the road. Maybe you'd like to work for a company with tankers, or maybe like to go on with flatbeds or box trailers. This is what we do. We use one-on-one private counseling sessions. This is to direct our students to companies that would be a good match for both the company and the student. We're not going to try to just throw something. Some of these schools, they have like 3 companies. We work with over 40 different carriers, and we're very proud of that.
Wow, that's great. I also get this question, where do I stay? Okay, we have people online tonight from all over the country. That's in New York and Pennsylvania and Texas and Alabama and, of course, South Florida and Southwest Florida. Where do I stay? The answer is you can stay anywhere you want. But if you're looking for the best deal, we suggest the Green Cove Springs Inn. It's located within 7 miles from the training grounds. What's kind of neat about this, Rob, is they've split the rooms. Half the rooms are double occupancy, so you can share a room with another student. There's a refrigerator, microwave, air conditioner, TV, telephone, free local and long-distance call. They got free Wi-Fi. They got charcoal barbecue grills out in the back. So, you got your refrigerator in the room. You go out there, put a couple of hamburgers on or a steak, and do your barbecue out there. And they do this all for national training students for $23 a night. So if you're there for 3 weeks, including the weekends, you're talking about $420. Wow. And Rob, I'm going to talk a little bit about you could actually get this for free.
Right.
And, somebody by the end of the webinar may ask this question. Let's talk about the cost, the fees, and about financing. And whenever we think about the cost of something, value comes into mind. And I think of value as a noun, the worth in goods, services, or money of an object or a person. Think about this and just think to yourself, does job security have value? What value does health benefits for you and your family hold for you? What's that steady income worth to you, to your wife, to your kids? Do you want the necessities today for you and your family? What's that worth to you? Have you ever invested in anything? It doesn't matter whether it's real estate, stocks, a house. What is the safest investment? Anybody know? Raise your hand if you know. That's right. The safest investment is you. Quality education doesn't cost. It pays. It gives you that steady income. It gives you that lifetime full of benefits, the job security, that independent lifestyle, the opportunity for advancement, retirement plan, or maybe the 401k plan like Jim was talking about. You get to travel and see the country and get paid to do it. And then, of course, the annual paid vacations. The 1 day off for every 7 days of driving type of things. National training's tuition cost is very affordable. And depending upon an individual's qualifications, the tuition cost is about the same as a semester of college. If the first year you average an income of around $50,000 and you work for 20 years, that means over a 20-year period, you made over $1 million. Rob, that's an investment I would take.
That's a heck of an investment for sure.
With an initial investment of not much money at all. Let's really kind of take a look what we're talking about here. Let me give you an example of what's on every guy's and some girl's wish list. Fast cars and fast motorcycles. I got this 2013 Goldwing, $22,899. Then I started thinking about that whole thing about depreciation. I drive it off the lot, and I just lost a few $1,000s. I go down the road, I lost a few $1,000s more. What's it going to be worth to me in 5 years? Okay, I found it in the Craigslist for $5,400, and the bikes look identical, except for the color. All right? By 1/4, okay? 1 year's depreciation, I could have gone to truck driving school. Wow. not much money at all. How about this 2012 Corvette Z6? $92,470. 5 years later, $32,000. Less than 1 month's depreciation, I could have gone to truck driving school. You know, Jim talked about the tuition reimbursement. You know, $6,000. Wow. This program doesn't even cost that. It's all good. We have it all. After all, we've been doing this for a very, very long time. We have the companies and we have the jobs. We have the industry recognition. We have impeccable government relations. We have guaranteed tuition financing for everyone. We have over 35,000 graduates that possibly came here before you tonight. We have a program that's really fun to complete, and we have an awesome training facility. We offer extra benefits for our fighting men and women. We accept active duty tuition assistance and special tuition pricing. We appreciate our students from the VA, our Department of Vocational Rehab students, all the different state voc rehab offices, all the different states' workforce programs or the WIA programs around the country, and the Bureau of Indian Affairs. How many of you are a little bit worried about going through this program and maybe not having a job? Raise your hand. You're thinking about maybe not having a job. Everybody with their hand raised, I'm going to give you tonight a free pre-hire. And the way you get this pre-hire is you give me a call at this number, 1-800-488-7364. I'll give you a link to a website. And I'm going to compare your background with these 23 different trucking companies, Werner included, and I'm going to give you a percentage of how many of these companies would hire you based upon your particular background. There's no cost and there's no obligation. How many of you have gone the community college route in search of a better way, and how did that work out for you? Raise your hand if any of these are you. It was great, and I achieved my goals and became comfortably employed. Raise your hand. I learned they offered all types of classes, but none of the offerings were a fit for me. Raise your hand. I met a number of other people who were in the class that had the same strategy as me. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put those hands down. Let me ask you another one. I'm going to do another one of those types of questions. How about this? I'll read the statement and then you can raise your hand. How many of you have student loan debt to pay from classes and training that did not pan out? I was not able to devote so many months to classes. Raise your hand. It was not for me, and I quickly felt it was not a good investment for my time and resources. Raise your hand. Okay, couple there. Let's do one more. Have you investigated other training options that were meant to start you in the trucking industry? I looked into other commercial driving schools and felt the curriculum offered was just not a good value. Raise your hand. I received motor pool training in the military, but found out that transferring that experience to the civilian trucking industry was very difficult to do. Go ahead and raise your hand on that one. I had an expensive, bad experience lesson when I signed up for that free training from the so-called reputable trucking company that claimed they needed drivers from a blind ad in a newspaper. Or raise your hand if this is your first training option that you've investigated. Okay, I'm going to put the hands back down. That was kind of fun. Let's open up the phone lines and see if we have any questions. If you have a question, feel free to go ahead and raise your hand. We'll open up your microphone. If you'd rather just type your question in, that's fine too. Again, our webinars are live, so we do like to have a little bit interactive. Okay. Russ says, he's going back to the referrals, he says that he found out about national training through his cousin. Excellent. Thank you, Russ. And thank your cousin for recommending you. Rob, I got a question here from Tom, and he wants to know, what does he have to do to get started?
Well, Tom, that's a good question, but it's an easy question. It's just getting a hold of your recruiter, and we can do that if you're not sure who he is, depending where he might be, where you are. And it's going to be very easily handled. He's going to call you, or you call him after having the number, and you'll speak to him. You'll speak on a one-on-one basis. He'll want to know all about you, your background, why you got interested in the industry, why you felt happy about this is what you want to do. Maybe you have friends or something that's driving. But the key ingredient here is that going through everything and finding out that you're going to fit in, you have the ability to benefit that Andrew and I have talked about, that you passed all of the questions that he has asked you, and hey, let's get it going. That's just it. He'll get you started immediately. There's no waiting time. He'll put you online probably within the hour or two after you get started. And it's just filling out the paperwork, and he's there to do it. You can do that right online. That'll take care of it.
All right, I see a question I missed up here earlier. It says, Rob, I'm going to start my residential training on the 30th. At what point would I apply to Werner?
Oh, you can apply right now to Werner. Werner would be happy to talk to you. I think Jim, I didn't know Jim's last name. I don't know if
Jim
he left
Clifford.
the phone number. Did he?
Yeah,
sure.
well, you can call us, but yeah, absolutely. You can apply online at Werner.
But you can.
Pretty
He'll
much
be up at
usually
school.
within 72 to 48 hours, they would send you your pre-hire.
But for any reason you miss him, you come to school, he'll be there.
Yeah.
He's always every 3-week session.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, that's what I heard. Okay, I think that we got most of the questions. I got a couple of questions here about felonies and DUIs. Anybody that has those types of questions, speak individually with your admissions representative. They'll be able to advise you if you're going to be able to go through this program, or maybe they can advise you into another industry. Okay, I got a couple of special announcements. Our next truck webinar is going to be next Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. and our guest next week is Rob Sieberneck with JBS Trucking out of Greeley, Colorado. Rob was here probably about a month and a half ago, did a great job, and since then he has actually brought 2 or 3 students from National to Greeley, and because he's a student ambassador, and he made $1,000 on each student that he recommended. So that's also another program that when you go through National, you can be the student ambassador for your particular company. Other special announcements: our next heavy equipment webinar is Wednesday at 6:30. So tomorrow night, Rob, tomorrow night we're going to talk about our heavy equipment program. A 4-week program works kind of the same. You do the book work or the classroom work at home, and then 4 weeks of hands-on training: bulldozers, backhoes, skid to loaders, tickler loaders, front-end loaders, tractor loader backhoes, laser survey equipment, laser grading, and laser surveying. And that'll be tomorrow night at 6:30. So everybody come there. We also have coming up on May the 4th a very special open house. And Rob, we had a great open house just this past week, and we're going to do it again May 4th. We had Covenant Transport was there, and Comcar Industries was there. We had a lot of people.
It really was great, and that happens to be the day after my birthday, Andrew, if you really want to know about it. Okay, but I will be there.
Tell me. We would have a cake.
Yeah, really. But anyway, folks, this is a great, we have such a great time. You'll come in between 9 and 9:30. And please, if it's a little bit of a drive, I've had students drive a couple 100 miles to get to this, and they've enjoyed themselves, and they'd be kicking themselves if they didn't show up. we're going to have a little seminar. The companies are going to be there. You can ask them just a one-on-one question. We have companies that are regional, over the road, and local, and they're there for that. And then from there, we're going to hop on the bus, go out to our 350-acre facility where we do our heavy equipment training. Something great. Everybody enjoys it. You may be not interested in heavy equipment, but everybody enjoys going out there. But anybody who is interested in it, maybe you've had a little problem with your background or something, and this would be the trade for you, hey, come on aboard. From there, we're going to bring you back, sit you down there. We're going to just have our nice lunch, and while you're waiting for lunch or having lunch, and right after that, you're going to be in our 18-wheeler, taking a ride on that 1.25-mile roadway that we showed you. And you're going to be in it, driving with one of our head instructors, and he's just going to be telling you everything that you're doing. It's just a great time. But we do have something even bigger and better besides talking with the companies and all the other things. We have a surprise that we only offer every once in a great while, and I understand, Andrew, you're going to bring it in again. Is that right?
I haven't gotten it approved yet, but I think it's going to happen.
Okay. I'm jumping ahead of time. All right.
It's not approved yet.
Okay. Well, I've kicked myself in the foot on that one, but hopefully it's approved. Hopefully it is approved, but that would be
absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to thank Jim Clifford for being on tonight talking about Werner. He did a great job, and I think a lot of people got a lot of good information about Werner. Rob Nelson, I want to thank you for hosting tonight. As always, you did a great job.
It's always a pleasure, Andrew. Thank you.
I want to thank all of you also for staying on with us tonight and learning a little bit about the trucking industry. The webinar is just about over. Rob is going to tell you how to get out of here in just a second. There is going to be a survey at the end of the webinar tonight. If you just kind of fill that out, you'll get an email with a survey. It'll take about 2 minutes. Just answer the 3 or 4 questions. It lets Rob and I know how the webinar is going, what you thought about it. I really do appreciate your input. The webinar you saw tonight was the first time we ran this live to the public, so we definitely want to get some feedback on the slides that we showed tonight. If you have any questions, contact your representative or our admissions office. First thing tomorrow, we're open at 9 to 6 tomorrow at 1-800-488-7364. Remember, your lost time is costing you big money. It's all good. Just make sure you call. Rob, you want to tell everybody how to get out of the webinar tonight?
Sure. Okay, guys, just look at number 2, file. Just hit that, and then drop down to exit, leave on webinar. It'll take you right out. It's real easy. File and exit, leave webinar. And good night to you all. Enjoyed having you. Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't know it was your birthday, Rob.
That's all right.
I got to blame Carol for that one.
Yeah. It'll be the week before we'll be going out. Wait till I tell you what it is.
Okay. Oh, it wasn't this past weekend?
No. What are you talking? It's April 3rd. May 3rd is my... What did I say? May 3rd, right?
Oh, okay. It's coming up, so we can still celebrate it at the next one.
Oh, yeah. There's no problem.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah,
I thought we missed it.
The day after. I said May 4th is the, that's the time.
Okay, great. Okay, I thought we blew it this time.
No, it's fine.
All right, I don't have to be mad at Carol anymore. All right, if I can get everybody to exit, please. We have about 5 or 6 people still on here. Thank you all for coming.
Do you have to? Is it required?
Yeah.
Because you can't do it. It's not required to live in the area.
No, it's required first time college students.
No, Katie. We can't be.
Yes, you can. You can make whatever rules they want.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. Please sign off.
Yes, they can. I want to go by university and teach the last